Good morning. We're back with Les Kevin, more tech from UTEC IT. And I think we're going to rename the show today. It's going to be Less, because as I get up this morning at, dark 30, I get a text from my partner in crime, Les, and he goes, I'm not feeling well. Got a little flu bug. Nothing's going on. So today's show will be much better because we have no Les. Sissy. But the good news is we got a couple. We have another tough guy that was able to brave through everything. A little snowstorm this morning and got in here just fine. And I'd like to introduce Ryan Craig from Amerisure. Ryan, good morning.
Good morning. Great to be here, and thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you gutting it out and not being a little weakling there like Les and saying you got a little stomach bug or something.
No worries. It's Friday. I've got, the weekend's coming up. I can't tell people I'm sick on Friday because then they're going to expect me to be down all weekend. So,
Yeah, you got to power through some things in life. Well, I appreciate you doing that. So, hey, Amerisure, great company. We ran into you guys, I think, 3 or 4 years ago with our first Rocket Mortgage Classic. We go down there and our hospitality tents right next to each other, and we met some really good people there from Amerisure, and we've carried on a little conversation with you guys since then. I'd like to tell me a little bit about the Rocket Mortgage and your guys' involvement with that.
Sure. Yeah. So 4 or 5, like you said, 3, 4, I don't know what it was, 5 years ago. Time kind of blends itself, with the COVID era going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were kind of interested in getting involved in something local that kind of gave us a different opportunity to get the brand out there and be involved in the community. And Rocket Mortgage was, in its inaugural year. And so they were looking for local businesses to be sponsors and get involved. And it just seemed like a really good fit. So, first, endeavor in this sense for us as an organization, and so it was very new to us.
Mm-hmm.
But all good things. I mean, it turned out fantastic. We had a beautiful week that week. I think the first year was in June,
mm-hmm.
and we had agency customers out, we had policyholders out, employees out. Met a lot of great people like you guys, and really enjoyed the opportunity to be a part of it. We ended up branding the entire 17th green.
Right.
So those are actually known as the Amerisure cabanas, which is really cool. And I remember when I got there on the first day, they were doing setup and they're putting all the signs up and everything like that. And there's the Detroit Pistons are in our cabanas. The Twitter is in our cabana. All these companies that are global and really well known. And I was like, oh, well, they're all part of the Amerisure deal here. So
yeah, they're part of the Amerisure cabanas. You're going, how are these lonely guys from UTEC getting here? What are they doing here? Get those guys out.
I did not think that. I just, it's kind of an eye opener when you have, like a Twitter
mm-hmm.
in there. I think Microsoft was even in there at one point. We've really missed it the last couple of years with the kind of the fans, and even last year. Limited attendance.
Sure.
But we still, utilized the opportunity, had a lot of fun. This year was a little wonky because it was over the 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
But this coming year, 22, it's the end of July. Everybody's already scraping and clawing over tickets and stuff like that to bring their clients to. And the field continues to get better.
Sure.
And we're really involved in the communities in which we have offices. Farmington Hills, the Detroit area is, where our headquarters is located. But the mission of the PGA Tour and specifically Rocket Mortgage in the Detroit metro area has just been fantastic. Bridging the digital divide,
mm-hmm.
and trying to give digital access to folks that can't afford digital access. And when you think about the necessity of the internet and all the digital tools that we utilize on an hourly basis, and to think that some folks right here in our community don't even have access to those things, it's something that I'm really glad they're addressing, that we're able to be a part of and support. We're really happy about all of it.
Yeah. We got to give a shout out to Jason and Rob Crow over there.
Absolutely.
the Rocket Mortgage Classic, because they have done a great job. And you think about it, first of all, they got a brand new tournament they got to open up.
Yeah.
They get that going. Great weather, great great outcome. Wonderful experience. The field keeps on getting better. Then we have COVID, and then they can't have any fans for a couple of years.
I know.
And the dates will get moved around on them a couple times. And last year we had 4th of July weekend.
Right.
And, there's pros and cons with that, but with everybody from Michigan going up north, sometimes it's a tough event to have. And then they had all the rain last year, but to their credit, man, those guys kicked butt, and they had that place shaped up, and wonderful.
They've done fantastic things with the Detroit Golf Club as well, and it's always been a great facility. Mm-hmm. I've got a couple buddies that are members there, and I've been out there a number of times and seen the evolution of the course and the clubhouse and everything like that. And as the Rocket Mortgage has become kind of a staple there, it's been so good. To your point, it's just been so cool to watch that course turn into what it is today. And Jason and Rob have played a huge part in that. And yeah, it's just been really cool to watch and to be a part of.
And what I like too is I think Rob gets it in the sense, Rob and his team, because they're connecting guys like us, right? They take companies that they ask you for a big check, and you give them a big check, and you support the mission and the cause, but they're really good about connecting people and introducing everybody. And so from a business standpoint, I always appreciated that. It helps with the ROI for an investment like that.
Oh yeah.
And so they're great. They're great guys. Yeah. Out of that, we had a buddy there, Matt Stepness, that did a great job taking care of his first time. And Matt moved north and with a different challenge, and Amerisure was right behind him and said, "Hey, we're good for this too." Or tell us a little bit about that with the Ally.
Yeah, absolutely. So Matt was when we kind of signed on to a few years with Rocket Mortgage. Matt was our original account executive, and so got to know him really well. Played a lot of golf with him. We're both hockey guys, and so he and I hit it off right away. And when he decided to take on another opportunity, which is just a fantastic one for him because he's an extremely talented guy. And just a people person. Mm-hmm. And so when he was brought on to the director of the Ally Challenge for the seniors tour, the Champions Tour, I should say, it was no surprise to me that, he was elevated to that position, and he's done a great job with that tournament too, bringing golf back to Warwick. And
yes, and important.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so he called me up and he, just to tell me. In fact, I think he even called me up to play golf, and then we went out to play golf, and he was like, "Hey, wanted to give you the heads up that I'm going to be moving to the Champions Tour, and congrats all around." And he said, "Are you interested in being a part of it?" And absolutely. So it's not when we look at like the scale of how we've invested time and energy and dollars into the Rocket Mortgage, we're not on the same scale as we are with the Ally Challenge, but we've gotten in kind of at the ground level. Mm-hmm. We've got some participant, we have some branding on course and that kind of thing, and experience for customers and their clients and that kind of thing. We hope to expand that relationship and that partnership. Like I said, Matt's a great guy. Love working with him, and the cause again. It's very community focused. That all the tour events are very community focused, and as an organization, that's one of our passions, is being deeply involved in the community, and so it's just a great fit.
Yeah. Well, I think anybody that spends any time looking at Amerisure, that they see that it bleeds right through and everything you guys do, from supporting the charities for both of those great events. But you guys are pretty passionate about the Junior Achievement Program over there. Yeah. And I think a lot of this effort leads to that, right? It's just not all about golf. Right. You got a great golf outing with the Junior Achievement you guys throw yourselves. Tell us a little bit about that and in your involvement with Junior Achievement, what it means.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it does seem like we're, it's all golf, but, and I guess there is some tie-in with the insurance business, the insurance industry and golf, whether it's Liberty Mutual or Travelers Championship or whatever. You see a lot of insurance companies that are involved in the sport. But yeah, we're very passionate about the community and philanthropy, and we partner. Currently, we're partnering with about 30 different nonprofit organizations in different facets around the country, and we partner with those organizations that have tie-ins with either our company, our employees, our agency customers, our policyholders, or our board members. And so, we talk to them constantly, those constituencies, and, find out what their passions are, what they're involved in, and then we try to help. And then there are bigger picture items like COVID. We made significant investments around the United States for COVID relief, but that was just something we felt we had to do. Everybody was affected by that. So, but yeah, junior achievement is a really big passion for us. On the golf end of things, we have an annual outing that we do at Oakland University.
Great course.
Oh, it's a great course. And it's been a huge success for us and for junior achievement. We do it every June normally. COVID threw a little bit of a wrench in that, but yeah, every June we put this on, and it's a great way for people to come out, network again, talk business, but also have a lot of fun and support a great cause. And usually it garners about a nice six-figure.
I remember you saying that it's no small check. It's a big check that you guys throw back.
And on an annualized basis also. And so that goes right to the organization, and they utilize that in a number of different ways. But Junior Achievement, at its core is just it's a fantastic nonprofit organization, and aside from the golf outing that just helps them financially and with a little bit of of an awareness thing too, because customers that are coming in from outside of Southeast Michigan might not be aware of Junior Achievement and kind of the things that they try to accomplish. And so it's a great way for them to kind of plug what they do. And
if somebody's not familiar with Junior Achievement, just tell us what they do plug and what their mission is.
So probably their main focus is financial literacy, and especially in today's youth, teaching them about savings and budgeting and having a job and the importance of all of those things. And it's critical, as our youth in not only urban areas, but all over the country just aren't getting that education. And so, you'll see folks, get their first paycheck and they go, blow it on, sports cards or whatever. It can cause a lot of challenges in young people's lives. And so, they do a great job of bringing in, schools and classes of all different ages. And they run programs out of a number of their offices that focus on financial literacy. Yeah. And they'll do really cool things like, hey, and they'll give you a card and they'll say, here's your job, here's what your salary is, here's what your bills are, gas to get food for your kids, whatever. And so it actually forces these kids to budget.
So check this out. This morning we're coming in, and Tori, who's probably a young 30-something, maybe late 20-something, sitting up there. She said, hey, who's going to be on today? And I said, we got you coming in from Amerisure. We're going to talk a little bit about Junior Achievement. She goes, oh my gosh, Junior Achievement. I remember doing that. And she goes, just like you said, I got a salary and I had to budget. I had to pay rent. I had to pay for insurance. I had to pay for cars and groceries. And she still remembers this. And she said that was back in elementary school.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's a phenomenal program that has a lasting impact, right?
Absolutely. Well, and the facility that they use is in downtown Detroit, and it's actually really cool because not only are the kids given all of these details about this fake life, but then there's also these stores around this facility, and there's like the mall, and you can take a credit card and you can go buy shoes or a hat or a dress or something like that you don't need to live, or you can go to the movies or whatever. So you have all these kind of entertainment options as well. And it's funny to watch how quickly the money runs out. And I remember we were...
Well, Tori still has her fake money from back in those days. Yeah, she thinks it's collecting interest or something.
She uses the credit card.
Yeah, that's right.
They
didn't have Venmo.
Right, yeah, exactly. Well, and I remember so one of the things we do outside of the golf tournament or the golf event, is we go down there every once in a while and we'll facilitate some of these classes in partnership with Junior Achievement. And I remember I was down there, I don't know, it was a couple of years ago, it was before COVID. And we were helping some of the kids with budgeting and that kind of thing and explaining what some of the things were. And I remember one of these young ladies turned to me and she's like, are you serious? Like this is she's like, I'm never gonna give my parents any grief again. Like, I'm never going to ask my parents for money again. She was so like stricken with this, this is what real life is like. And this is what our parents have to do and to budget and to afford everything that we would like to do in our lives. And so,
well, it's so important because young people cannot get ahead. Right. Even if they have no money, they don't know how to manage what they do have. They make terrible mistakes. And even young people or old people as skill, if you could be making a lot of money, but if you're just wasting it away, you got no future there. So I think it's something that oftentimes gets overlooked. We ask so much of our schools now, and we got all these social issues we're working on and everything that gets overlooked. So I think it's important that Junior Achievement continues to work with folks like that and get the training that they need.
Yep.
So Junior Achievement, Amerisure, great partnership. They're doing wonderful things. They're picking up the slack, making sure folks get financial literacy, and it's an important thing. But Amerisure, besides just being a great corporate citizen, golfing all the time, sponsoring golf outing stuff. At some point there in Farmington Hills, you guys have to do some business, and I was amazed to hear. I mean, I love the idea too that Amerisure, I think, and if I'm wrong on this, correct me, but you guys said you don't want to be all things to all people. You want to be really good and pick some areas and specialize in that. And there's like 38,000 insurance agencies, I think you said, out there. And you said, let's pick some of the very best and just work with them and focus on great partners. You like to call them customers, but great agencies to work with that, they represent your product at. I love that. And there's maybe 100, 200 you do business with?
Yeah. There's about 120, I think, is the current number, and fluctuates a little bit, but not drastically. So we're a commercial insurance carrier. We are national in scope, and we only operate in construction and manufacturing and healthcare. So we take pride in being specialists in those three verticals, and creating the right coverage, the right business solutions for the policyholders that we protect. On the agency side, so our agents are our customers, and our agency program is actually called Partners for Success, or PFS. And the independent agency network nationwide is about, it's like 30, like you said, 35,000 around that number, and we work with about 120. Yeah, so it's very selective. We have a very similar view of risk and risk mitigation and protecting businesses in those three verticals. And while we have a lot of expertise in those three, the agents that we do business with also have expertise in those three verticals. So it's a very, very powerful bond that we have. It's a very, very powerful partnership that policyholders get access to if they're the right risk.
Right.
And our motivation is to help policyholders be loss-free. And so we partner, we pilot, we implement a number of not only practices in risk mitigation, but also planning and technology. And we've been on the cutting edge of a number of pilots, technological pilots, from a risk mitigation standpoint that we, once we feel comfortable that they're worth offering to our policyholders, we will implement those. And a lot of times they're in a tiered approach, but from things like telematics, like even a lot of drivers have access to telematics. Personal drivers have access to telematics and from your car insurance company. And basically all it does is it just keeps track of what you do when you drive. If you speed, if you hard turn, hard braking, that kind of thing. And the safer of a driver you are, that data is downloaded to the carrier, and then you get discounts on your monthly premium because you're a safe driver. So we do similar things like that for commercial fleets. We do cell phone blocking technology, which I feel should be in every teenager's car. Actually, every person's car.
And a lot of adults too. Yeah,
I was gonna say. I don't want to pigeonhole the teenagers because they are certainly not the only ones that do it. But yeah, it's an app that goes on the phone and it basically blocks the ability to text or take calls while the vehicle is in motion, which is pretty cool. Dash cams. So there's a lot of commercial fleet stuff, but also from a worker standpoint, there are wearables that the worker could put on their hip or their arm and it monitors their blood pressure, monitors their stress levels. If they're ergonomically, if they're bending improperly to pick something up, an alarm will go off to stop them so they avoid back injury or strains. Wow. We do drones for roof inspection, so we don't have to send somebody up on a 4-story roof that could potentially have leaks or damage to it. There are a number of virtual reality headsets where they're now doing like scaffolding training. Okay. So instead of having to have somebody go up on a scaffolding and work through strapping themselves in for the safety harness and that kind of thing, they can put a virtual reality headset on. And I don't know if you've tried any of these Oculus things, but they are insane how real they are. In fact, it was funny. They were running through a pilot for virtual reality, and the feedback that the company got that had developed the software was it's too real. And there were people freaking out if they would fall off the scaffolding because it was so real. Yeah. And so they actually toned it down and they made it more animated in nature to address some of that stuff.
Well, I mean, people would say Amerisure Insurance Company, and when I'm hearing Amerisure is technology company.
Yeah. Well, and it's a bond, I think, between that. And I think we don't even want to be seen as a technology company. I don't think we want to be seen as an insurance company. We want to be seen as an effective business partner. We offer insurance products. That is our kit and caboodle, right? But really we're in the risk mitigation kind of field, and through all of those efforts, right? If you have the right coverage, if you have the right tools in place, the right processes in place, you save workers' lives sometimes. Right. You save injuries, losses, damage to equipment, theft, that kind of thing. Natural disasters. I mean, we have a lot of policyholders and agents down in Florida and the Panhandle, and they obviously deal with hurricanes and that kind of thing. And so just being ahead of kind of the curve in a lot of that risk mitigation saves businesses that we work with just a ton of money. And again, the human aspect of it too, it really helps to mitigate injuries, and so these workers can go home at night and be with their families and not.
Need to spend a little bit more time with less. You could mitigate the guy eating bad food and whatever he did to get sick like that, right?
Unfortunately, there's no coverage for that, but
Go vegan, Les.
That's right. But yeah, that's part of our purpose as an organization is that we're just very in tune to the human element of it. And I think that's one of the biggest differentiators between us and some of our regional or even global competitors is that not that they don't care about their customers, but it's something that we put first. And it's kind of our mantra, especially right now, is this powerful partnerships, mutual success, and what that really boils down to is regardless of what type of partnership it is, whether it's our agent and us, whether it's our agent and the policyholder, whether it's us and the policyholder, whether it's us and these vendor relationships we're considering or partnering with from a technology standpoint, when we work together and there's that human connection, we all realize success, which is a fantastic thing to come to terms with, especially like when, if you haven't been treated that way, dealing with another entity. And so it's when you win, we win, and we're not going to do well unless you do well. And so we try to get in as quickly as we can, as early as we can, and say, hey, let's do this. Let's implement this, try this. And most of the businesses that we do business with are very open to those recommendations, and they see a great deal of success, and ultimately it affects their bottom line, which is what every business wants, right? In a positive manner.
Well, kudos to you, your leadership team, and all your team members that make Amerisure great, because I love what we've heard about Amerisure and the folks that have used you and things we hear back, because you're great partners, wonderful company. You give back to the community. I love the, mitigating the risk, educating, young kids through junior achievement, us old dogs, right? Hey, don't bend over, don't lift with your back, bend your knees, all the stuff that you do on that, right, to help reduce claims, right, and keep us moving. You're a great business partner, and you got a select few agencies, and I'd be remiss if we didn't shout out Capnick Insurance down there in Ann Arbor.
Yep.
And Michael Spath, he wants to make sure he gets his name out there. So,
Yep. Good partner.
Tell everybody to go there. Yeah,
absolutely.
But no, I appreciate you coming in and spend time with us. You guys are, like I said, a great organization, and thank you for all you do for our community.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Great. Now, before we sign off, this is what we like to do, and this is in the Les Kevin Mortec classes. We always ask everybody, what's your favorite flavor of bourbon here?
So this is Jefferson Ocean.
Okay.
Haven't had it in actually quite some time, but it is it's extremely delicious.
Yeah. Well, good. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you out on the golf course, right?
You got it, buddy. Absolutely.
Hit them long and straight.
You too.